Hi everyone, welcome back to this very special 4-part series premiered on our channel entitled Our Gay Dad. This video is part 3 of a 4-part series, hearing directly from my own children how it was to have their dad come out as gay within a very strict Christian environment, and the journey they've taken through it all. In sharing our own story, our hope is that we might encourage other families who have gone through or may experience the same scenario in their own lives. If you missed the other 2 parts, you can find them by clicking the link up above. If you're not yet a subscriber to our channel, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. Please hit the like button and the notification bell to get notified of any new content we post. And also, we'd love to hear any questions or comments that you may have. So please come along with me, McKinnon, and Tanner as we continue our story with part 3 of Our Gay Dad. Okay, so now do you have like stereotypes now that since you know your dad's gay, do you see more stereotypes maybe on television or movies or the news of things that, you know,
that you
I think
think
it's a little more out there today, for sure, but
way more
I
out there?
still don't see there being a stereotype, and I will say this forever. The last person in my head to be gay was you, so there's no way that it's a certain person, you know,
Yeah.
it can be anybody. I have no way to tell. It's not there are stereotypes, but you were the opposite of the stereotype and in my opinion still mostly are. So I don't I don't think that I don't have
Do you think it's
stereotypes in my
easier
head.
to
it would be easier to accept maybe a peer of yours gay versus your dad? In other words, would you be more apt to hang out with somebody like if you knew one of your friends all of a sudden came out to you tomorrow, somebody that you'd already made a relationship with, a friendship, would how would that affect you compared to how it affected you with your dad?
would you
Well,
still
Continue to maybe hang out, or would you kind of distance yourself from that person?
because you
my
can't choose
best
your dad,
friend,
right? You can
yeah,
choose
Yeah.
your
yeah.
parents.
My best friend since I was born, I love her to death. She came to me and told me that she was pansexual. And I had heard of that, and it has not affected our friendship in any way. She's still my best friend, and I love her just the same. So for me, as I've been able to see you and just be the person that you are, and just because you're gay doesn't change, you know, it is who you are, but it doesn't really change anything else about you. You know, I have an easier time with her coming to me and telling me that, because I feel like if she told me that 8 years ago, I would have never talked to her again. So
Right. Yep. So time has made a difference for you.
yeah.
Okay. So Tanner, for you then, if you knew somebody that you had known, for a long time as a friend, and then they came out, what would your response be to that?
if if I had a friend that I grew up with who was straight, growing up and then going into that lifestyle, me personally, I would distance myself. It's um it's just something that I'm not comfortable with, honestly, for me. Um yeah,
Okay,
it's
that's fair. Have you changed your opinion or beliefs in this area at all of people being gay? I mean, I'm talking about,
from
If
growing
it's
up to
wrong or
now,
not.
or
yeah, at all, with now that your dad's gay and having experienced it with him. Have you maintained those beliefs? Do you what do you think?
For myself, I don't agree with the lifestyle, but that doesn't mean that I don't respect it and that I can't be friends with somebody just because it's not something that I 100% agree with. There's no reason that I can't love somebody, be best friends with somebody, support somebody. And I look at it as if my child came to me and told me they were gay, I would love them just as much. I would like I said, my friend came to me and told me that she was pansexual. I love her just as much. She's still my best friend. My beliefs haven't changed in as much as one might think. I still don't agree with it, but it's a little, I understand it a little more.
So just so we're aware, you don't believe they necessarily choose to be gay, but you don't agree with it if they are.
Right. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
little tricky for me for sure.
That's tricky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tanner, I'm assuming you're still on.
Can you say the question again? Sorry.
So have your opinions or beliefs changed on it now that that you've been around your dad all these years that's gay and
No. I would say it's still pretty rough for me. Not like McKenna said, I'm not gonna, see you as any less of a person. I can still love you. I might not support you, but that doesn't mean that I can't, talk to you, be a friend to you, respect you. That's always
right.
it's what I've been taught, and even though if it is a little different than the actual way that I was taught, like this is bad, um, they need to get it right and fix
You
it.
shouldn't be around them. I think that's another
Yeah,
thing we were taught.
yeah, and that still doesn't change that.
So you're not going to come and attend a gay pride parade with me is what you're saying.
No, not by choice.
I'm kidding.
No. But no,
okay.
Yeah, no.
And I do notice, I'm just going to make a comment. I know some of the gay people that might be listening, when we hear the word lifestyle, we always kind of do a double take because that is one buzzword I guess people say to almost differentiate the way that we live versus the way heterosexual people live. Like, what is a lifestyle to you? To me, it's, getting up, going to work, coming home, eating meals together, doing, leisure activities together. Isn't that the same kind of a thing that straight couples experience? And would you consider that a lifestyle?
I think it's
Any
more.
takers?
I think it's more of a
is
tradition.
it a question? Okay.
Yeah.
You were commenting.
Oh.
That is weird to answer.
No, I think that's a good question. Lifestyle for me is just how somebody lives their life. So I try not to use that word when it comes to that, because it is the same. Everybody does the same basic day-to-day lifestyle things like getting up and going to work and stuff. So I think when he uses that word, he was raised on that word. So
right, you were both raised on that word.
Right, yeah, we
for
both
me
were.
If you say, I know that McKenna and I do not have the same lifestyle. Like,
that's true.
For me, it in my head it tells me she's married, she has a significant other, she has a job, and she goes to college. For me, it's I don't have a significant other. I go to high school. I'm not. It's not the same. I don't know if that's what you're saying.
That's a good way to
But
put
when
it.
you say lifestyle, that's what I think of. Like all of our lifestyles are different. From
True. I mean, I get it that we all live different ways, and there's different subtle things that we experience within our family lives.
That's how I see it.
For us, when we hear the word lifestyle, we're being put into a box separate from what the norm would be. So that's kind of a comment. Because really the only difference to me is that, McKenna's married and living with somebody opposite sex, and I'm married and I'm living with someone the same sex. We do the same things. We go to work, we come home, we clean house, we watch TV. So, those types of things. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there as something that you can chew on, I guess. Let's kind of go into now. Of course, you guys know that your dad is now married and has been for 9 years to Gilbert, who's, people know him on this channel because that's bonded together, Gilbert and Troy. So how was that from, especially in the beginning, and was there any growth in that avenue of your dad getting married? Not only just getting remarried, because I know getting married to anybody can be stressful on the children, but getting married to a man, give us some little bit of insights under your thoughts for that.
That was a huge curve for me because, to be completely honest, that's what I heard the most about from mom and her side of the family. The most, I guess you'd say, bashing, the most, bad talk was about you getting remarried. So that was always really difficult for me. And I struggled with that a lot. And it's not that I didn't like Gilbert, I just didn't want people to think that he was a part of my life. I was embarrassed by that whole situation, and I didn't want anybody to replace my mom. Not that that was ever going to happen, but in my young mind, that was, you were going to move on with somebody else, and then the three of us wouldn't have been as important, or, you know, you would have
As
taken
prioritized.
his side. Yeah,
Yeah.
prioritized is a good word. And we would have been on the back burner. And that was kind of in the back of our heads because of people saying those types of things to us when we were younger, like, oh, he's probably not going to care as much for you guys anymore now, or he'll not want to be around you as much. So that was what was scary for me. And it was the complete opposite. Gilbert's always been very respectful of how we were raised, and he's always, been really kind and friendly, and we've had Christmases and birthdays and holidays together. So he's always been really great, and I really appreciate him, like I said earlier in the video, not forcing what he believed on us or just putting it in our face, because we weren't ready for that at the time. As we've gotten older, we've been able to have a relationship, or at least I feel like I have somewhat of a relationship with him, and I respect him as a person. But like, as a child, no, that was really hard for me, and I did not like being around him.
So you kind of looked at it as a daddy's choosing somebody else over us.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, in any kind of a married situation, that really isn't the case, but I can see why a child would think that.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's I'm drawing you into a relationship that I'm going to be a part of. Is what I wanted to like draw you guys into being part of it. And of course, you were my first, loves, being my children, and so I'm just adding another extension onto my family that would, then join in with us as we've already had. But I definitely see where any child could come through that and say, yeah, daddy's choosing somebody else over me. And I think that would probably go for any,
Oh yeah,
whether
even
it was same sex or not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been harder if it was a woman?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because then
do.
why? Tell us why.
Because then she would have, in my head, actually tried to be a mom. She would have been a stepmom. That's another female figure in our life that, I didn't want to have anything to do with, because in my head, she would have been the reason that the family could have split. I would blame her. So no, it definitely would not have been easier.
Trying to take the role of your mother, and that's something that
Right.
you, of course, didn't want. Tanner, did you have some comments on this topic?
I always I don't see Gilbert as like
A stepdad.
I see him more as like a friend, or a just somebody older than me that, he respects me, which, I respect that, and I'm grateful for that. But I don't see him as somebody who's like, take the trash out, do this. And the rebel side of me is like, I probably wouldn't do that. Only my dad can tell me what to do. But it's not like, it's just a mutual respect that he
That's a
isn't
good
trying
way
to
to put
take
it.
the place of somebody, which,
Right.
Yeah.
And
which is
I think
something
that's
that we didn't
kind of the
want.
difference between, like you said, if it would have been a woman, then it is kind of where there's almost like a competing person for your mother's role. And I could totally see that, where a kid would be like, hey, you're not my mom, so I've got a mom. In this case, there's no really competing, because it's totally different. So I know Gilbert loves you guys, and he you have to think of it also from his perspective. He's never had kids of his own, and so for him to marry somebody that already had kids was a challenge for him as well, to try to see where that all fits into the the family that we were trying to put together. So I think it was tough, and I see what you guys are saying and how definitely it was hard to see your dad get married. Of course, neither of you were at the wedding, right?
I'm just kidding. They would have never been allowed to be there, even if they wanted to go. But no, and so, but yeah, okay, I get it.
Thank you for watching this part of our story. If you'd like to continue, you can click the link above to watch the next part. We hope our story can be an encouragement to those of you out there who may have similar circumstances within your own families, to let you know that it does get better. If you're not yet a subscriber to our channel, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. Please hit that like button down below, as well as the bell notification, so you can get notified of new content when we post it. Also, we'd love to hear your questions and comments down below as well. Thanks again for watching.